Well, good afternoon. It's been a month full of action, from the inauguration of the new Pope to Chelsea's victory in the Conference League to Kenyan activists being arrested and detained in Tanzania. It's been a busy time, and here at Younib TV, we won't relent or stop. We are committed to bringing you the news that matters most, keeping you informed and one step ahead. Today, we've got a packed lined up for you. We'll be covering the president's tour to Nyanza, the opposition leader's response to the president's apology to Gen Zs, and Kenya's para powerlifting team making us proud in Kazakhstan. My name is Joseph Kamau, but before we dive into today's bulletin, let's first take a look at the highlights.
Pango yetu ni nyumba 15,000 katika Kisumu County. That is our commitment, that is our plan in phase 1.
Majenzi walikufa hawakufa. Vijana waliumizwa hawakuumizwa. So Bwana Ruto, is not a question of if. You have blood on your hands. That apology umepeana jana, conditional apology, is not acceptable and it has been rejected by Justice of Kenya.
Kwa hivyo Kenya hii yetu tuendelee kukaa kwa umoja. Wakati wa siasa ukifika, kila mtu ataenda kupigia ule mtu anataka kura. There is no problem. Tutanyoroshana, mwenye atapata ashukuru Mungu, mwenye atakosa angojee siku nyingine, Mungu atambariki huko mbele.
Should there be any tax increment? So let us not increase, let us not suffocate Kenyans. In terms of agricultural produce, these are very important issues. We cannot afford to move agricultural inputs from zero rated to exempt, because as we talk now, Uga prices is in its highest prices.
Welcome, this is Younib TV at 1. Now, according to President William Ruto, the establishment of a broad-based administration has sped up Kenya's socio-economic progress and helped counteract polarizing politics. Speaking upon the opening of affordable housing projects in Kisumu, the president celebrated the results of a new era of collaboration between the opposition leader Raila Odinga and the Kenya Kwanza administration. Ruto reiterated his dedication to promoting equal development throughout the nation, regardless of party inclinations.
Pango yetu ni nyumba 15,000 katika Kisumu County. That is our commitment, that is our plan in phase 1. Ya kwamba tupange maendeleo ya Kenya na umoja ya Kenya. Ile kundi ingine ni watu wa kisirani, watu wa hasira, watu wa chuki mingi, watu wa ukabila. Mimi nataka niwaulize, wale watu wanataka kutuingiza siasa mfululizo. Sisi tunawaambia jameni, hatuna time.
Hatutaki watu wetu wangoje mpaka siku nyingine. Tulisema endeleo ni sasa. Na kama si sasa, ni sasa hivi. Sivyo? Hii ndio sababu tulifanya hii mkataba na chama ya Bwana Ruto, ODM na UDA.
That President Ruto has allowed allocation of resources to roads in Homa Bay County in billions.
Well, to other news making headlines, the opposition leaders have slammed President William Ruto for his apology to the country's youth for the atrocity they suffered following the Gen Z protest in June last year, claiming that the apology was hypocritical. The leaders, who spoke at the home of Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka in Sekuri, Kitui County, have urged the president to demonstrate his outrage over the events of last year by ensuring that those injured and those who died are compensated. Otherwise, the apology he sought is baseless.
Walikufa hawakufa. Vijana waliumizwa hawakuumizwa. So Bwana Ruto, is not a question of if. You have blood on your hands. That apology umepeana jana, conditional apology, is not acceptable and it has been rejected by Justice of Kenya.
Ati Ruto anasema kama tulikosea. Ati kama tulikosea natoa msamaha. Iko msamaha hapo? William Ruto, take your apology to Sugoi.
Apology ni kuomba tu msamaha, kusema nimesamea. Lakini repentance ni lazima utaje ni makosa gani unataka kusamehewa.
Ndio Kenya iendelee. Ruto must. That is the most important thing. Na yeye ana shida akitupigia kelele ati hatuna agenda. Tuko na agenda. Agenda ni kufukuza yeye kwanza.
You saw, I must remind you, to uphold the Constitution of Kenya and some of the things you are trying to do together with your fellow administrators in this failed administration are clearly anti the Constitution and they are impeachable offenses.
Ali unaona mimi ndio ushindi utakuwa. I am not just an ordinary politician. I am a political scientist. Yeah? Na mimi najua kupiga hesabu ya siasa.
Still on matters politics, Kenya Kwanza and a group of ODM officials participated in an economic empowerment event in Nyaribari Chache, Kisii County on Thursday, led by Deputy President Professor Kithure Kindiki and Farouk Kibet, an advisor to President William Ruto. Using the opportunity, the leaders voiced their displeasure with the opposition, accusing them of trying to split Kenyans along tribal lines. Additionally, they charged that former DP President Rigathi Gachagua and Juja MP George Koimburi had orchestrated a botched abduction drama.
Kwa hivyo Kenya hii yetu tuendelee kukaa kwa umoja. Wakati wa siasa ukifika, kila mtu ataenda kupigia ule mtu anataka kura. There is no problem, tutanyoroshana, mwenye atapata ashukuru Mungu, mwenye atakosa angojee siku nyingine, Mungu atambariki huko mbele.
Na hii ukweli lazima isemwe, kwa sababu ukiona kiongozi tabia yake ni kuinvite watu, yeye anatabiri mambo ya vita, kiongozi wa aina hiyo afai kuwa kiongozi hata ya kusimamia chairman ya DIP.
Hao wanayefuatafuatana hivyo wanakusanywa, wanaambiwa jiteke nyara. Mujichunge. Yule mtu wa siasa ya ukabila, yule mtu wa siasa ya uchochezi atakuja kuwadhulumu, hata wapotezee maisha yenu.
This is the drama we've been telling Kenyans. Hata hizi abductions zote mlikuwa mnasikia in the previous in recent months, most of them zimepangwa na huyu jamaa wa Wamunyoro anaitwa Gachagua. I am telling you, interest ya huyu mtu ni kuhakikisha kwamba Kenya haina amani, Kenya ianze vita mapema.
Now, yesterday, the courts gave Parliament permission to start vetting the 7 commissioners' nominations, bringing the nation one step closer to re-establishing the IEBC. Judge Lawrence Mugambi of the High Court overturned previous rulings that prevented Parliament from screening the nominees, but he halted the commissioners' swearing in until the selection panel had undecided a case contesting the legitimacy of the screening procedure.
The conservatory order is hereby issued forbidding and or preventing the gazettement, taking of oath, or assuming of office by the interested parties, namely Erastus Edung Ethekon, Anne Jerin Deritu, Moses Altara Mukwana, Mary Karen Sorobit, Hassan Nur Hassan, Francis Odhiambo Wadwol, Fahima Harvat Abdara, or any other person or persons as the chairman or commissioners of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. For avoidance of doubt, the vetting and approval process in the National Assembly may proceed, but subject to this order.
So I'm happy that the judge has lifted the injunction today, but going forward, I'm giving judicial notice as a leader of this house that this house will not stop doing their work. In fact, if the ruling don't come out today, we are planning to sit tomorrow so that we can vet and finish our business. Then you can go to court and do whatever you want to do.
But for avoidance of doubt, nobody, and I repeat, nobody, has the power under any law or under our constitution to injunct Parliament from doing its work. For the information of the House, I have asked the Chief Justice to have some colloquium with some members of this House, including yours truly, so that we do not continue talking at each other.
Well, the news about the vetting of IEBC Commissioner will be taking us for a short break. When we come back, we will see what the lawmakers have to say about the 2025-2026 budget. Welcome back and thank you for keeping it Younib TV News at 1. Now, the 2025-2026 budget has drawn criticism from lawmakers who fear that additional tax measures such as a 16% VAT on sugarcane transportation will raise the price of necessity like medication and sugar. Treasury PS Chris Kiptoo argues that the action is required in order to close revenue shortages. He also highlighted important areas that are still not included in this year's budget, citing budgetary limitations and revenue forecasts that continue to fall short of expectations.
Should there be any tax increment? So let us not increase, let us not suffocate Kenyans. In terms of agricultural produce, these are very important issues. We cannot afford to move agricultural inputs from zero rated to exempt because as we talk now, Uga prices is in its highest prices.
All exports should be zero rated as a matter of policy. Anything else we try to move to exempt. Yes, moving to exempt might mean that the industry might push to consumers. But we also know you are an economist. There is something called price elasticity of demand and supply. You are now putting pressure on us to say there is no money for UHC, there is no money for this. You can see the pressure is on expenditure. And then you don't want tax. And it is wrong to make Kenyans believe that tax is bad. In fact, what we are doing is we want to raise the base, tax base. We're doing tax-based expansion so that everybody is in the tax bracket. Focus is, if we succeed on expansion of the tax-based expansion, we will reduce corporate tax from current 30% to maybe 25%. VAT will come down from 16 to 15 down.
Now reports that Attorney General Dorcas Oduor does not have the custody of the official seal of the government have been denied. Oduor attempted to end the discussion by stating that her office is still the legitimate custodian of the important government emblem. She said this during the unveiling of the Rapid Results Initiative Committee, which aims to expedite the resolution of land and environmental conflicts. The public seal had previously been transferred to the head of Public Service Office, according to media reports.
The legal custody of the public seal remains with the Attorney General, and as such, the Attorney General has and retains the in custodia legis and of the public seal, namely the legal right to control, protect, and care for the public seal under the Attorney General's charge. Government is one government. The executive is one executive. We work together collaboratively under the leadership of the President. So we are one.
Is very clear. The seal is under the head of public service. That is the law. It was passed recently. Because of the executioning, the role of the head of public service is to execute the orders of the President.
We gave legal advice in cancellation of that contract. We took into account public interest. But what is going to happen now is that the road is going to be built reasonably with lesser money than it could have been built before.
This is also an opportunity to be able to review various pending cases and see how they can be resolved more expeditiously.
Well, now let's dive into sports. Now, the Kenyan national team has finished the World Weightlifting Championship for the visually impaired with a bang, collecting a total of 35 medals in Kazakhstan. The medals included 3 silver and 8 bronze, raising their total tally to 35 after a vigorous 3-day competition. The team asserted that the wonderful performance was as a result of good preparations and learning of new tactics.
Kulikuwa na squats ambazo tulikuwa tunajua tunafaa kufika 90 ukiteremka, lakini kumbe unafaa kwenda zaidi, chini zaidi. So hiyo ni technique ambayo tumeona lazima kila wakati tunasoma hizo review za rules.
For me to win this position, it was just a trick, small trick which they were playing. Also as we managed to play the same trick, and then I emerged the victory.
In future kitu tumeona ni kusajili wachezaji wengi wadogo, wale wako na nguvu zaidi, ndio tutaongeza kwa kikosi za mchezo zinakuja.
Ningependa kuwahimiza wazazi ambao wako na watoto walemavu, muwapatie nafasi, muwatoe nje. Mimi mwenyewe nilianza kucheza hii mchezo 2017 wakati nilipewa nafasi, na saizi mimi ni team manager na bado ni vice president wa Kesavi. So tungeomba sana muwapee watoto nafasi, msiwafiche.
Viva, viva Team Kenya. Thank you for making us proud again. Now that wraps up our coverage for today. While it's been a month of dramatic events and impactful stories, here's something that might surprise you. Did you know that honey never spoils? Archaeologists have found pots of honey in ancient tombs that are over 3,000 years old and still perfectly edible. A sweet fact to end on as we look ahead to what the next month will bring. Thank you for joining us. Until next time, stay informed, stay entertained at your #1 youth channel in Kenya and the whole of Africa, Younib TV. My name is Joseph Kamau. Until next time, have yourself a great afternoon and a babblious weekend. Bye-bye for now.
Jungle.